Welcome to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. I'm Bernie Flowers, one of Uncle Sam's wayward children. I believe that our country's best days are still in front of us, but if those best days are to come, we need to change the direction of the country now before it's too late. I intend to talk about important topics every week in hopes of helping to improve our country and our way of life. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get started. Our guest for episode number 27 is Colonel Vincent D. Crabb. Vincent D. Crabb, Colonel, United States Army, is a rare breed of soldier. In 1979, he started out as an enlisted man. In 2010, he retired from the Army as a highly decorated full colonel after over 40 years of service to his country. Known among the ranks as the original Sheriff of Baghdad, Colonel Crabb is a professional leader with progressive hands-on experience in field artillery, infantry, psychological operations, military deception, operation security, civil affairs, and many, many other disciplines. Vince Crabb is a soldier. Colonel Crabb is also my battle buddy. He's been so for the past 20 years. Without any further ado, Vince, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay there. Been a while. Good to see you. It's I miss seeing your smiley face at 4:30 in the morning.
Man, it's the same to you, brother. We have been through so much crap together. And with all the political craziness going on, I just figured that maybe the people might want to hear something a little bit different in politics. And I thought, hey, let's call my buddy up and see if he wants to talk a little bit. What do you think?
Roger that. Let's do what we do.
All right. We got a few adventures together. People might like it. Very few people have heard these stories. And after a couple of decades, we might as well tell them before they're forgotten. So before we start, Vince, we can't cuss like we normally do. If we talk like we normally do, they're going to kick me off social media. So you got to hold your tongue a little bit. Cool?
Well, you know how the Southern boys are. We get together and we just go back to the old ways.
Oh, boy.
I got you.
Country boys.
I'm on board with you.
Man, what you been up to?
Not much, living the dream, retired, taking care of the family, got a little land, got some cows. Just recently, matter of fact, yesterday, just drove in from South Carolina. I live here in Texas, up around Dallas-Fort Worth. And I went down there and got to see my very special nephew graduate out of boot camp of the United States Army. Very proud. But that's what we did. So he is now in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. So young man, young, strong, 18 years old. Do you imagine that? Remember when you was 18 years old?
Can't remember back that far. You know better than that.
But he is so happy. And I asked him, I was on the parade field with him after the ceremony was over. I said, Makai, do you regret it? And now that he's in the Army, instead of calling me Uncle Vince, he calls me Colonel, No, right. Colonel. I just wished I'd have got here quicker. He is having a blast. So I'm proud of him.
And that is every bit of awesome. Carrying on the legacy of the family.
Roger.
Now I got another question for you. This word call sign, Sheriff of Baghdad. How'd you earn that call sign?
When I was in Baghdad, me and my team, General Blunt called us all in together. And he said, we got here in front of 4th ID. 4th ID was supposed to come in from the north and take over Baghdad. However, there were some hiccups with the folks up north, you might say, the other countries, so they didn't get to come in like they were supposed to. So at the last minute, General Blunt said, hey, we're going in, we're taking Baghdad. So that's what we did. We rolled in, did our thing. And so as we got in there, rolling through the streets where they called the green zone at one point, the four-headed palace, the cross swords. And I know you know that because me and you was there. I know you remember that.
We got a picture together there.
Roger that. So we rolled in there, and so we kind of did our little recon down through there. And one of our last big battles with the Republican Guards was right there in the green zone. And even my soldiers were like, how come they're standing in front of the walls instead of behind the walls? I said, I don't know, but as long as they're shooting, keep shooting. And so we did the thing. Okay, so we did that, did our little recon, went back out to Bayap, that's the Baghdad International Airport for you folks that don't know. And got another update. Hey, what'd y'all see when you was down there? Give him our update. This is what we got. Still heavily armed and a lot of bad guys, you want to call them that. And so we need to take that over, basically the green zone. And then you got the interior of oil, defense, finance, blah, 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 blah. All of it still heavily armed with the Republican Guard folks. And so he comes up, says to my commander, and says, you need to somebody needs to start setting up the police department. He goes, I got the perfect guy. He's a cop back in the civilian world. And he says he had retired. He's on active duty now. He goes, so my commander at the time, battalion commander, come to me. I was a commander of the direct support detachment. He says, Major Crabb, you're up. He goes, you're going to set up Baghdad Police Department, and we're going to use that a copy paste for the rest of the nation of Iraq. I said, all right, cool, we can do this. So about a week later, General Sanchez, the Corps commander, 3-star, he calls, he says, you're the hottest thing going right now, Major Crabb. He goes, I want to send a camera crew with you from BBC, CNN, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was hesitant because here's the deal. The places we were going into Badlands every day, me and my teams. And we were trying to get some kind of law and order. We were trying to set up some martial laws. We're trying to set up checkpoints, yada, yada. Well, here's the deal. Having a civilian with me and having the camera guy with me, now I've got to babysit these people. And I'm not saying it because we actually became good friends, to be honest with you. But at first, the lady, I won't call her name, but I told her, I said, ma'am, I said, where we go, it's not nice. And I said, I really don't want to have to babysit you, quite frankly. And with General Sanchez sitting there, and he told me, he said, you're the commander. That's your AO, Civilians Area of Operation. That's your AO. And if you say no, then the answer is no. I said, well, I'll let them go with me, General. I said, but there's one stipulation here. I get to see and edit everything before they send it to the rest of the world because we're in combat. And some things in combat, normal civilian people just not going to understand. And of course, her response to me was, no, I'm not doing that. Freedom of speech. I can do what I want. I said, well, with that note, then I'll see y'all later. I said, General, when on that kind of mindset, I don't want her with me. I said, not only am I going to have to babysit her and her cameraman, and I get back here and she starts sending out stuff to the world that everybody shouldn't be seeing. I said, now we got another issue. He goes, you're the commander. Mm-hmm. I turned around and walked out. All right. Week and a half later, another call. Hey, General wants to see you. And you got to understand. I mean, you were there, we're extremely busy, and having meetings at the general's office is really not on the things to do list because we are extremely busy. So anyway, I did him out back in there. We're out in the field, been out there 2 or 3 days, the growth, we smell like freaking goats. And so I go back in there. And so I said, all right, sir, what's going on? And because I was having to do updates every time I do a 24-hour update, kind of keep them knowing what we're doing and where we're at. So I walk in, there she stands. The lady that told me I'll do what I want to, there's nothing you can do about it. And I said, well, okay. So I'm looking at her and I'm looking at the general, says she's changed her mind. So I look at her, I say, here's the deal. Me and my people are so busy. I'm hot, I'm tired, I'm nasty, I'm dirty. My rule still stands. And if you agree with that, I don't want no feedback. I want a yes or a no, and that's the only thing I want. I 110% agree with you. I will not send nothing, photographs, videos, nothing until you review it. So of course I'm thinking, great. So anyway, I said, all right, you guys get your stuff, get on the Humvees or out front. And you got to understand, we was on the initial fight. We were the first wave in with 3rd ID, 3rd Infantry Division. So we did not have armored vehicles. We still had the soft skins.
Yeah.
You hadn't checked lately. Bullets go through soft skins.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so we gathered them up. We took off. First thing I did, I took them down and got them, not even say qualified, but we did a quick orientation on some handguns, AK-47s, our AR, M4s, yada, yada. And she said, well, why are we doing this? We're not here to fight. I said, here's the deal, ma'am. If we get in a gunfight and if I get to the point I can't shoot, I expect you to pick up my gun and shoot and get me and you out of there. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. When we get outside this gate here in a little while, if we get into a firefight, I expect you to put your hand in my belt loop and hold on. I expect your camera guy to put his hand in that sergeant's belt loop and hold on. I don't want to look for you. I want you to be stuck to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way this is going to work. And we're pulling out here in about 2 or 3 hours. And okay. So we got them get a little orientation. So it wasn't maybe hour and a half. We had one of the biggest firefights that we had on this whole deployment so far. I mean, it was lottie-dottie everybody. I'm going to tell you what, though. The biggest trainer ever is experience. When the bullets started flying, I'm going to tell you what, I could not get this woman off of me. She stuck her hand in my belt and she was holding on and going, oh my gosh. Now I see what you're talking about. She goes, is it like this every day? I said 2 or 3 times a day, ma'am, just like this, I'm telling you. And so after the firefight was over, she's like, her and her camera guys kind of had that deer in the headlight look, going, oh my gosh, I can't, we just did that. We absolutely just went through a firefight. And I said, yes, ma'am. Anyway, after that, she was sold. She was on board with me.
Amen.
All right. Fast forward, there's a little video out there in the world, a little small documentary that she made of me. And so we were walking around talking to this compound we got over in Solder City, which was actually the academy, the old academy prior to the war. It's where they trained their policemen. Mm-hmm. And so we took it back over, and it's right there, right outside where anybody that's been there that's listening to your audience. It's the split onion. We all called it the split onion. And what the split onion is, underneath that split onion, it's a big old blue looking onion that it's cut in half and a little off center from each other, but we call it the split onion because obvious reasons. Well, underneath that is a big old compound. And what it is, it's for their service members of all previous wars, and it dated way back. I don't even know what the last date or the earliest date, but it was pretty nice. I mean, they did good. So anyway, so right outside that, we set up our compound, and it's probably 25, 30 acre compound. I mean, it was a monster. So we're walking around, showing her around, we got a big old compound. We had set up the martial law. We had set up checkpoints, and we're taking in guns, vehicles. And so we're talking, and she goes, so, you're in a part of the world where they claim this is where it really began. Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, ma'am, that's what I hear. And she goes, so do you kind of feel like a prophet? I said, no, ma'am, not at all. I said, ma'am, I'm a guy from Texas. I said, I've got my guys here with me. I said, I'm just trying to stay alive and keep them alive and we'll go home one day. She goes, so you're from Texas. Now this goes back to your original question. How did it come up with the title of Sheriff of Baghdad? And she goes, so you're from Texas? I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, well, how about the Sheriff of Baghdad? What you think about that? I said, now that I'll go for. And that's how that came. That's where the title came from.
Wow.
And so.
Funny thing is I've been, I've done travel all over this world. And when I talk to Army people, they know who the Sheriff of Baghdad is. And the funny thing is, I was up at a school up in Pennsylvania, the War College, not long ago. And I was talking to you. I'm retired at the time. and I ran across this young pup. I call him a young pup. Hell, he was a full colonel. And I told him who my battle buddy was, and I said Sheriff of Baghdad, and he about damn near lost his mind. So please tell the audience what a battle buddy is.
A battle buddy is that guy or girl. It's that person that's got your six, meaning it don't matter what's going down. You know you can count on them. It's loyalty, always loyalty. Things go bad. I knew I wasn't going to have to look for Colonel Flowers because he was right there with me. If I got shot, that means he was probably shot too. If we're walking down the gateway together, then we're walking together. But here's the deal. We had each other's back through thick and thin. I've been retired since 2012. You have been retired right before me. And I'll tell your audience, there's not a week goes by that we haven't talked every day. We talk, hey, how you doing? You know, we know each other's families. We've been in combat together more than once, by the way.
Your wife helped edit my book.
There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we do. I mean, that's your battle buddy. Your battle buddy is that person. It's your person. And if our civilian population, and I'll just mention our politicians a little bit here, if they knew what a battle buddy was and loyalty, let me talk about the loyalty. They didn't even know what the loyalty starts with. Their loyalty is their own pocketbook. But here we are. So battle buddy, I don't have to worry about you. You know, if I go down here, even the civilian world, you're the first on my call list, and she knows it.
Same.
And I got to figure that you've got the same thing, because when something happens, you'll be here. The same thing with you up in Maryland, me in Texas. Like,
yes, sir.
As soon as I can get there, and when we get there, we take care of each other. That's your battle buddy. Your battle buddy don't. I'm not going to get involved. No, there's none of that. There's none of that.
Well, let me tell you, it's funny. People talk about combat soldiers, and you've been downrange a whole lot more than I have, but I got a little stink on me. And the thing is, whenever you were around, I always felt like I was going to be okay because Vince is my good luck charm. And our deal was, we're going to bring our people back with all their fingers and toes. And if we do not bring them back with all their fingers and toes, then we have failed. And that was our commitment to each other, and we were able to do that. And I'm just very, very proud of the fact that we were able to do that. And, there's a lot of folks out there like us, but they don't get the chance to tell their stories. And that's what we're going to do today, is you're going to tell your story. Now, I got another one for you. Get ready. I think.
All right.
Remember that time we were out in All Fall Palace and we got caught in a rocket attack and our dumbasses were outside? Why don't you tell that story?
Yeah, we went over there. Here's a funny story to the audience also, is that not funny, it's just the way it was, but we had no problems. When I first come up with Colonel Flowers, he was my boss. And eventually down the road, I was his boss. But it didn't matter. We were battle buddies, as you said.
That's right.
So every night while we're in Baghdad, we're still fighting the fight during the day. Colonel Flowers got a DD Mile. DD Mile means he got to go over to this palace and send reports up to the headquarters, Stratcom, who else ever was going to look at it, Joint Staff. So not only was he doing his thing during the day, being hot, nasty, dirty, sweating, bleeding, he was sending reports as well. So we're walking over there, and sure enough, boom, 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 and it just kept walking it in, and it was so close, it was vibrating around our feet, and everybody, you can only imagine. I mean, especially when you're war torn, and by that time, we'd been in country long enough that we were a little shy. But you know what? We made it through it.
That's right. That's beautiful. Well, I tell you, that was I was never more alive in my whole life than that night. So anyway, another story I'm going to ask you about. Me and you were in a helicopter flying over to the Green Zone once. And rather than me tell that story, I want you to tell it.
Well, they called it catfish. Everybody's got to wonder why they call it catfish. You know what? I have no clue. It sounded good, so we called the transportation with the helicopters catfish travel.
Mm-hmm.
So got it all lined up. We get up. So let's go over there. I want to show you the palaces, the four-headed palaces. Show you where we had our big hoo-ah with the Republican guards, and so we're flying along there, and well, they're shooting at us, and so we're seeing the tracer rounds come, bang, 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 bang. Bernie's like, oh, those are flares. Are they kicking out flares? I said, no, they're actually shooting at us. I said, let me tell you something. If we get hit and go to the ground, if we're still alive, stay close to me. We'll be just fine. He's like, what?
You
But I
know,
knew
it's
can't go back that battle buddy thing.
there you
Hey,
go.
hey, we're gonna make it back. I promise you. That wasn't even the question. If
God help them if we would have went down, because we're gonna take a bunch of them with us. But that's another story for another time.
I was gonna take their food.
There you go. About 20 years ago, me and you and Commander Patrick Grady and a few others, we had a group of about 5, and we had a little concept, and we grew that group of about 5 into an all-service multidiscipline team of about 40 people traveling all over the world, securing bases to threats against DOD and its personnel. And we built a road show from hell. We went over to 3-letter agencies and military bases, barring personnel, and it all worked. And what we came up with is what we call the Jim Diva concept, the Joint Multidiscipline Vulnerability Assessment concept. And the 4-star general at STRATCOM liked it so much that he gave us $20 million to build it out. So I think we must have been doing something right. But you know, the best part about this is that you and I learned to lead people. We learned to build coalitions, and those are skills that can be used for the good of our country. And I tell you, man, I'm gonna share something with you. We've been complaining about politics for a very, very long time, and we promised each other that we would do something about it. And I'm thinking about running for Congress, man. What do you think?
Well, that's what I hear. I hear that you hit it last time, and you just kind of going back and forth on this go around. And I'll tell your audience out there, if you can talk him into it, I'm his battle buddy. Y'all heard that. He still hadn't given me the skinny yet. I think he's trying to make me work for it. But I'll tell you, if you want somebody that's in your back pocket looking up for you, your children, your mama, your dad, your aunt, uncle, niece, let me tell you something about this guy. He's been fighting for the world, all of our nation. Don't know these people, but he's fought for them. His whole life has been this. Congress is nice. Quite frankly, I don't care where you sit, Congress, Senate, governor, president, anybody that wants a good leader that's got a good conscience, dignity, honor. So all of you folks need to help me out there. Y'all need to pound his website. Y'all need to go and pick at the front of his house and get him on a ballot somewhere, because he needs to get on this ballot. He's not giving it up yet, whether he's going to or not going to, but we need to get him on the ballot. And so I'm going to stay on him until he gives it up. So I know he already knows, but he's just not letting me know or the rest of the world know. But I'm telling the people, I'm telling you, if you want somebody to take it to your next level, you want somebody that's going to support you and protect you. I don't know who you're running against, but I can tell you it's not Colonel Flowers. They have not even come close to touching you, and nor will they. So I'm telling the audience, do what you got to do. Make him get on this ballot some way, somehow. And that's what I would say. But now you got to know. I guess you get to go. I'm going to have to go with you because we're battle buddies.
Well, that's the bottom line. I think, as I remember, we were talking trash off in Fallujah somewhere, and we said, one of these days we're going to meet on the steps of the Capitol, and we're going to go into Congress together, and we're going to give them some country. You remember that?
Absolutely, I remember it.
Oh, I'm going to hold you to it.
you know, we did our thing. We were young and, you know, running and jumping, shooting. You know, the rest of the audience, you know, it's called the staff action officer in the Pentagon. Well, Bernie was on the air staff action officer. I was on the Army. We didn't even know it at the time, but anybody that's been there and done that, and they got their little tab, certificate, whatever you want to say about it, you know, you have been through the gauntlet. And but here's the deal: it teaches you. You got that staying power. So when we both learned that you was at the Pentagon, yeah, I was on Army staff, I was on air staff, blah blah blah. Bottom line is, it just gives you more credibility. And anybody that's been there and done it, they know what that means.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing about that: you don't go to the Pentagon and not meet nobody. You have a whole lot of people you can reach out and have by a telephone call. Kind of goes back to what I just said about you getting in Congress or getting on the ballot to do something. This guy's got people out there. And what he's not talking, he was in a pretty big 3-letter agency prior to doing this. He got people he can make phone calls. So, yeah, I remember all that.
Well, we made some promises, brother, and we don't break our promises. So with all that said, brother, the floor is yours. Talk to the people. Tell them whatever you want.
Well, to the audience out there, I'll tell you, it's you know the old saying, you know, everything happens for a reason. You run into people, and I'll tell you a little story. It's kind of funny. I think it's funny. We had to go talk to a general up at the Pentagon once, and so me and Bernie walk. I'm not going to tell you the general's name. They get a little touchy if you drop their names and don't get permission. So I'll just tell you the 3-star. And he's a black man. And we walk in, he kind of looks at us and leans back in his chair and kind of laughs. And so we're kind of, me and Bernie standing there kind of looking at each other like, what is he laughing about? So he says, you know, the funny thing is, Vince, I thought you was black. And Bernie, I thought you were white. Talking to y'all on the telephone, listening to y'all's voice. I said, well, sir, you know, what you don't know is when we get off to ourselves, both of us from the South, and we get that old country slang, even our wives laugh. Said, boy, they bring out the old school. Man, you can't even hardly understand, but they understand each other.
Yeah, that's God's honest truth. Well, brother, I tell you what, I know you've been on the road, just got back from Fort Jackson, and I'm proud of your nephew. I'm proud of you. I'm going to just, you know, let you have the rest of your afternoon, and I just appreciate you, you know, getting on here and telling some stories, and I hope the people appreciate it.
Well, hey, people, listen to me. Put down the telephone, mute your TV, and listen to me. Put some pressure on him. We got to get him pressured up. He's going to give it up here. He's not telling nobody the truth yet. Or he may be telling the truth. I don't know. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he don't want to. I don't think so. But we need to get him on that ballot. So whatever you got to do. Of course, he's over there laughing, going, man, you got to put that Southern slang back down.
You can turn it on and turn it off when you want to.
But anyway, you got to get him on there. So, yeah, I mean, hit that website. I don't know, call his house. I don't care what you do, but we got to get him on that ballot. And he's got a lot of fire left in him. And I can't wait until we hopefully swear in together. And it's going to be like when we was doing it again, back out there one more time. They ain't going to see us coming. Like, oh, what just happened?
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Bring some hell to Congress.
Our nation's in trouble. I just listened to a little bit of the president speaking before I come in here, talking about all the good that's being done. He spoke about the Afghanistan debacle, and it's like anybody in their right mind, for God's sakes. I got it. Maybe you don't like Trump. Cool, don't like Trump. I don't care. But you can't tell me the people we've got today is doing a good job. There's no way. There's no way. Because if you're thinking that, then turn back on your TV and go back to your video game, because I don't probably need to talk to you anyway. But here's the deal. If you will listen to me, you listen to Colonel Flowers here. If you are thinking that way, just ride with us a little bit. That's all I ask. Just give us a chance. It don't cost you nothing. It's free. And we'll do the rest. Just get us in the door. And I'm going to tell you, get on his website, call him. Colonel Flowers, you got to get on that ballot. Colonel Flowers, you got to get on that ballot. Because somewhere he's going to go, Battle Buddy Right. Time to ride one more time. We're too old to get out there and jumping out of the planes and run through the jungle, but we can do this. We got a lot of knowledge. Y'all look at that head. Look at Colonel Flowers' head. Y'all how much stuff's in that head?
Man, you need to quit.
Walking computer.
Listen to who's talking. But we do make a good team. We always have. And, dude, I tell you the truth, you really are my good luck charm.
Well, Maryland. We talk about Maryland. I was listening this morning about some stuff that's going on up there. The nastiness you got in your school. It's just like here in Texas, not Maryland. It's all over the United States. But
yeah,
little old kid being shot in the back of a car, for God's sake, by a stray bullet. Are you kidding me? Come on now. This guy here will clean that up for you. He'll clean up your parks. He'll clean up your schools. These people been hitting in the head, walking down, old people and young people for no good reason, walking down the sidewalk, trying to go to the market to get some food. And you hit somebody in the head so you can steal $5 from them? Are you kidding me? Come on now. We don't do that. I'm supposed to do that. This guy right here, Colonel Flowers, he'll help you with that. I promise you. Because evidently the guy that's in there now, he's not doing nothing but collecting a paycheck and living the life of, yeah, look at me, I'm a congressman. This guy's not going to do that. He's not going to look at me. He's going to go, watch what I do. Watch what I do.
Most people don't know that fellow's name, and I'm not going to bring it up, but that's another story for another time. Look, brother, I'm going to get on off of here. You have graced me with your presence, and, you've said some things that, man, you done put me in a trick now. I got to do something. But same thing goes to you. You need to get up there and get on that ballot down in Texas. And I told you, we're going to meet on the Capitol steps, and then we're going to give them hell.
It's going to be like a Texas tornado. I can't wait.
Amen, brother. Look, you be good. Give my best to your family, and I'll be in touch.
All right, then go down and get that the wife of yours that new car now. Go on.
Don't you start. All right, brother. We're good. Well, that's about it for now. This has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast, produced in association with Liberty Arise Media, Fallback Productions, and other podcasters. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast and to these channels. Be sure to get your copy of my book, Black Values Matter, available on Amazon or as an ebook on Audible and Apple Books. And also, it's okay to disagree, but if we want our country to prosper, we must insist on unity, transparency, and civility from ourselves and our fellow citizens. Thanks for listening to the Loyal Opposition Podcast. See you next week.